Happy Easter to you all. This is a Sunday morning update. We got Watchmen reports coming in from all over. And we also have Watchmen updates particularly concerned with the weird chicken that is on store shelves right now. Not all of it, but they're seeing more and more incidences of this happening out there. And like every day, the drama in Washington, D.C. continues on and on. We got some more things to talk about there. Big news from Eastern Europe and the conflict there we need to cover. And yeah, the Supreme Court is blocking people leaving the country again. So, updates there too. Seeds being in short supply and disappearing out there on store shelves. Reports from the Watchmen on that. Fruit issues inbound and recalls we need to talk about. And we'll finish up with a heartwarming story of a family that was prepared. And not only that, but they got to show it to their extended family what preparedness actually looks like. And, it was a really inconvenient power outage, but they were able to show them what being prepared looks like. All right, friends, let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. It can be on this video or on any video on this channel that gets it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds and into something safer like physical precious metals. If you want to find out more about that, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, the Supreme Court has temporarily paused deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. So lower courts are saying, well, we can't stop those deportations. There was like a super low court that was like, yeah, we can stop all that. But then the appeals courts were like, no, it's what the law says. Of course, that didn't stop the Supreme Court, who was looking at it and going, yeah, that's what the law says, but we need to have a hearing for each and every person in the United States before they have to be sent away. Which, when we're talking about 10 million plus people, we're going to have 10 million plus hearings? That's insane. We don't have enough courts for that. We don't have enough judges for that. Is that really what their ruling is going to be? It's like, nope, these people have to be able to stay. We didn't have any court hearings on them coming in, but we have to have court hearings on them going out. Absolutely insane. Another day. All right, so we have some big news coming around Easter happening right now. Apparently, Russia has issued a unilateral ceasefire. So they're stopping their firing on Eastern Europeans, and the Eastern Europeans refuse to agree to the deal. So they're just but they're like, if you stop, then we'll stop. So there isn't actually an agreement. There's just apparently they're stopping for 30 hours. They're just gonna take Easter off. There was a major prisoner swap that happened. 246 from each side got sent back to their homes. But Russia is also declaring the energy strike truce, that they wouldn't target each other's energy facilities, power companies, oil facilities, natural gas, that kind of stuff. Saying basically that deal, that truce is over. So we will see what happens next over there. Yesterday was a so-called day of action on Saturday, with many protests occurring across the United States in protest to the elected president's anti-democratic policies or something. So people who don't like the democratically elected president and don't like him using his democratically elected powers. Anyway, so lots of people were out there protesting because it's not quite as cold. Oh, did I say that part out loud? Yeah, they're promising to have lots and lots of protests. A lot of the people are out there being tracked? Are they organically out there? Are they of their own accord? Or are they being paid? I don't know. Anyway, the nation of Hungary has added to their constitution the definition of a woman. So that's now in their constitution, and shouldn't have to do that, but common sense would tell you what a woman is. But in this day and age, it's probably not a bad idea. Other countries should take note of that as well. The Pentagon apparently is in chaos after Defense Secretary Hegseth sheds 4 staffers in one day. I believe 2 of them were fired because they leaked information to the media, and it's a whole thing. All happening just before a long weekend. You know how they always dump like the worst stuff right before a long weekend, stuff they want to just kind of go away. We've seen a bunch of that happening already. And right before the long weekend, we see dumped out on the White House website, as well as other locations. The Trump administration declares that the China lab leak was the true origin of the cough. With the intelligence assessments and the intelligence information from the intelligence agencies, all of this was suppressed by the Biden administration and by media companies, tech companies across the United States and across the Western world. Remember what I just said. What I just said, I could not have said back then. I would have lost my channel. Interesting how the misinformation of yesterday has become, well, it was always the truth, but now even the tech companies have to admit that as well. Ecuador on maximum alert after an alleged assassination plot was discovered, so they are in full lockdown mode, fearing a coup. Looks like it will be averted, but definitely some chaos happening there. A lot of fruit comes out of Ecuador, so be aware of that on your fruit store stands, okay? Ty says, Savannah, Georgia. I was unable to go shopping at the Dollar Tree in March. So when I got to the Dollar Tree around April 15th, the vegetable seeds were all gone. The display is torn down. It was like a post-apocalyptic movie, and another Dollar Tree that didn't have a display either. Last year, you found them up until around June. Well, Dollar Tree's not going to have anything to put out once we get to June, unless something changes. Dollar Tree is really China Mart these days. Rhonda says, Southeast Michigan. I have also bought chicken breasts that are stringy, spaghetti-like insides that we're hearing about, right? I don't think it's really chicken meat. I have more luck with bone-in chicken breasts, but that's getting hard to find. That should tell you something. Barbara says, Spruce Pine, North Carolina, Walmart. Power and internet were down yesterday till late afternoon. I never heard an explanation and didn't realize that I thought it was an isolated case. But we're hearing reports that it was across the eastern seaboard. It didn't seem to be super long because we're not seeing any media accounts of it, but apparently it was widespread. Other Walmarts around here in neighboring counties were not affected in North Carolina. So, all right. 30-day ride says, expect more fruits to be in shorter supply, therefore higher priced. We can thank the state governments of California, Oregon, and especially Washington. Washington is the top producer of many fruits in this country. But county by county, they are restricting water use, which is exactly what they're doing in California, too. restricting water use to the farmers and ranchers. We have to protect our domestic food resources. 85% of our beef and most of our pork is owned by foreign companies. Number one beef supplier owner is from Brazil. Number one pork supplier is from China. And we send our chickens to China for processing. What are we thinking? Why on earth would our government allow our food supply to be controlled by other countries? Well, you know, for the almighty dollar, of course. And mostly it's corporations that run the government. I mean, how do you think these people get into office, right? Eyes Wide says, in just 1 week, the paper towels I ordered off Amazon went from $7.98 to $11.98, up $4 for 6 rolls. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of price increases out there, and paper products are definitely being impacted. You may not need toilet paper and paper towels because of a shortage, though some people are saying that might happen. We're definitely seeing those prices going up significantly. Madam K says, Shawano, Wisconsin, Walmart had no frozen bread, dough, and no sour cream. Dairy was way better than the store at home. Frozen veggies were sparse, no broccoli or frozen peas. Noodles, ramen, and egg noodles all gone. That is truly something we need to be concerned about if we're seeing the ramen noodles disappearing, because that means people are on edge. People are stocking up. It's not the best thing to prep with, right? Ramen noodles don't last terribly long, but they're very useful to have some packages of that, especially if you're going to hand them out to other people. Anyway, that's my fear index, right? Noodles, ramen, and egg noodles all gone. No tuna, no corned beef hash, no apple cider vinegar. Big selection, though, of canning jars. So make your own, right? Carl says, usually multiple freight trains going south daily, loaded with containers. Not anymore. Saw 2 going north with containers and 1 with military vehicles. Well, that's the way to get military vehicles around the country, of course, is rail if possible. But we got a lot of... there's going to be reports coming out on other channels and stuff like that. We really try not to talk too much about military units moving around inside the United States, especially in the summertime. You have National Guard units that will be going to their trainings, reserve units going to their trainings. It's natural. It happens. Also happens with helicopters. We'll try. I'll keep my ear to the ground if there's unusual movements happening. But every year we get a lot of reports from you guys, as well as other channels get those reports too. And we'll bring stuff up if it's unusual or different. But you're going to see them on the roads. Okay, it's not martial law coming. Okay, happens every year. John says FedEx is as bad as the Postal Service. Okay, let's hear it. I ordered OEM auto parts for my car from the same place. One part is sitting in a FedEx warehouse a few miles from here. The other part went from Texas to Wyoming. It's supposed to come here to Ohio. My daughter checked on them for me. I don't know when I will get the parts. My car has been down for 3 weeks. I probably will have to contact the place where I purchased the parts to see if they can get to the bottom of it. There's definitely things getting dropped and missing out there from FedEx to UPS to U.S. Postal Service, right? But U.S. Postal Service takes it to another level, or at least with their reorganization right now. What's Next says, so about 3 months ago, I prepared garlic chicken breasts. I noticed when I was cutting the chicken, it had a spaghetti-like texture to it on the inside. Unlike anything I've ever seen before. I was somewhat concerned when served, it tasted different. Haven't prepared that ever since. Now that I hear others talking about it, I'm really concerned. What's up with that? Really worried. I recommend if you see that, toss it. I can't tell you why or what, but just from what I've heard from you guys, it's not worth cooking up and keeping. Please just toss it. And note where you got it from, right? Billy says, I was just in Canada and noticed prices and big box chain stores were higher than the last time I visited Canada. Not sure why. Seeing it's a different country. Still, I think they follow suit with the United States' high prices. The savings from countries are between $5 to a few pennies on a few different items. Also, I was told by many people there that they do not want to become the 51st state and they will not travel to the United States until that policy is changed. Now, obviously, that's not policy of the United States. That is President Trump being President Trump, and I'm not sure where he's coming from on that point, but I think it more is just a trade war kind of thing. But, I mean, we have seen, he said he was going to take the Panama Canal back, and everyone was kind of like, you can't do that. That's kind of crazy. And he went and did it, which is surprising to everybody. And now with Greenland, he's not backing down off the Greenland thing either. And so what's going on with that? I don't know. Maybe he's playing 3D chess, whatever, but ticking off Canada, I don't know. But I heard from some Canadians, we had a report a while back where some Canadians were basically saying that basically in Canada, they started sticking Canadian flag stickers on all the Canadian products. And they said that they were surprised at how basically everything was from Canada already. Getting to the point of that they import very little from the United States already because of the massive tariffs they have on U.S. goods. They've already blocked us out of their markets. So it's kind of like, yeah, we'll feel it a little bit that the Canadians are upset with us, but they may be very patriotic, but they're going to be feeling it a lot more up there. So, but they seem to be happy, thumbing their nose at the United States for now. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. I think most Americans really don't think much about Canada. I mean, it's not that we dislike our friends up in Canada, and we just don't think about them very much. And so it'd be nice if it was just a free trade environment where, I mean, whether you're a separate country or whether you are part of the United States, doesn't really matter to most Americans, except we don't want more liberal votes in the Senate. But all that said is we just want to trade with you fairly. We don't want you guys giving special credits to your car manufacturers that make it so that all the jobs go up to Canada. We want you to have to import our milk and our dairy products just like we're willing to import your stuff. Anyway, Old as Dirt says, for the last 3 weeks, there have been recalls that are just blips that come across the government websites. They have shown recalls on children's Benadryl from India due to plastic bottles poisoning the contents. Children here in the U.S. have perished from this. Some were pills for grown-ups of different types not dissolving when they were taken. So it doesn't give you the benefit if you poop the pills out, and they never open up. Thank you to RFK Jr. for looking into it and realizing the safety checks on that factory had not been carried out by the FDA for over a year. If the FDA hadn't checked the factory for over a year. There is a recall on cheese, due to metal shavings in it. A meat recall hamburger due to wood-like substance in it. All are on the government websites. Some recalls are manufacturer recalls, not forced from the government and on their manufacturer's website, but still listed on the government sites. I had to dig back in my emails to find some of them. There are several daily here lately. Another blip on the news is RFK Jr. is proposing all big pharma personnel not be on the boards of approving pharmaceuticals and such. People and doctors are the ones to be holding those positions, and regular folks from the population. All good news as he is worried about the microplastics and the other things that are in our everyday food and medicines. Thank you, Steve, and I hope this information helps people. Yeah, I mean, I was floored by this. I came across this. The United States, people in the United States live on average 4 years less life expectancy than comparable countries. That's bad. That's really bad. If you want to live 4 more years on average, just move to another country. Now, that's comparable countries, so not every country out there, right? But that's a shocking statistic. Americans live for 4 years less. We need to do something about that. Solo tap. This is an encouraging one here. My sister and I were baking some Italian bread and lasagna for lunch for everybody. In the middle of cooking, the power went out. My sister and her husband started to freak out. We can't finish the food with no power. I have propane and biofuel backups for cooking and heating. But I just opened up the cabinet and plugged in the oven into the 110 inverter in the big power bank for the thermostat and timer to work. I saved lunch and made my family see that prepping isn't just a phase or panic buying. It's preparation for what is to come. I even had a few uncles ask how I got everything to work correctly. We have power back now, but it's just amazing how people lose themselves without the comfort of modern conveniences or technology. Sound familiar? I know a lot of you guys had those conversations, but haven't had the opportunity to have an experience like this where they see the light. But no reason not to get prepared and ready for power outages, storms, and general issues that we're going to have out there. If you think you're in the middle of a depression, maybe you should start living like you're in the middle of a depression, right? And we're looking at our neighbors and thinking that very thing, aren't we? All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information about what you can do with your retirement account with gold, silver, and platinum, there's a link right there to Genesis Gold. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.